So guys, the moment you've all been waiting for is finally here, because this is the episode where Yuhao straight up challenges the entire Sun Moon Empire army, and this is that episode where Yuhao locks in his final mindset to go head on against the Sun Moon Empire and the Holy Ghost Church and send every single one of them straight to Tang-san. And if you haven't seen the last part yet, please go watch it first. The link will be popping up above for you. So with that, let's jump right into this episode. At the start of this episode, we see that in the ruins of Duling City, Shu Sani is facing a serious political challenge where he needs to prove his identity. And something really interesting comes out here that even his own friends had no idea about. His mother, whose name is Shu Ying, was the most beloved daughter of the old Duling Empire emperor, meaning royal blood of the Duling Empire literally runs through Shu Sani's veins, but there's no official record of this because his mother had run away from home and got married to his father, a marriage the royal family never accepted. After which, when the premier there asks for proof, Shu Sani releases his Xuanwu shield, which was originally the shield of the Xuanwu turtle. But during his cultivation, he had stimulated his Xuanwu bloodline and evolved it. And then, that pitch-black shield slowly starts glowing golden, and a small snake begins stirring on it. This is a boy barely in his early 20s, and 8 rings at that age means this is the kind of genius that comes around once every 1,000 years. After which Shu Sani explains that he's an inner courtyard student of Shrek Academy and he benefited from Yuhao's spirit's invention. And he has a 100,000-year spirit, a golden tortoise, and the moment this comes out, every official in the room is visibly shaken, and he also tells them that the Academy had received prior warning that the Sun Moon Empire would target the Duling Empire, and they had arrived, but time was wasted on the border because nobody knew the enemy would hit the capital directly, and he announces that the 2 legions that attacked were the Imperial Dragon and Evil Eye Tyrant Soul Engineer legions, and Yuhao and Tang Wutong wiped out more than half their Soul Engineers and also killed their commander. Hearing this, Yuhao steps forward and releases his spiritual detection, which is so powerful that a gentle stream enters the spiritual seas of more than 1,000 people simultaneously, and everyone at the same time clearly sees half of Duling City in a way no one there has ever experienced before, and the officials are left completely stunned with their eyes wide open, after which Yuhao addresses everyone and says he's truly sorry they couldn't get there in time, and says, "I had no idea the enemy would slip through secretly all the way to the capital like that," and then he makes it very clear that he, Shu Sani, and everyone else didn't come here to take any political power. They only came to help the Duling Empire. After which, hearing his words, the officials feel ashamed because their own security had failed so completely that 2 entire Soul Engineer legions crossed the border and reached the capital without anyone knowing. And the premier goes down on one knee and acknowledges Shu Sani as a prince and requests him to temporarily take on the responsibility of the throne. And Commander Li does the same. And all the remaining officials one by one bow before him and show their respect. After which 3 important decisions are made in an emergency meeting. First, that the news of the palace attack will not be allowed to get out. Second, that Shu Sani will chair court meetings as Prince Regent. And third, that the people will be told the royal family is heavily injured but alive, and the Prince Regent is temporarily in charge, and the elite troops stationed on the front lines will not be told any of this, because if they find out, they'll pull out of Shrek City and try to go fight the Sun Moon Empire directly, which is actually exactly the trap Juji has laid for them, after which Yuhao decides that Jiang Nanan, Juichen, Ye Guyi, and Nanchuchu will stay here with Shu Sani, and he himself will head back to Shrek City overnight with Tang Wutong. After which Yuhao hugs Shu Sani and says, "Good luck, senior brother," to which Shu Sani, in a slightly drained tone, says he never expected something like this would ever happen, and he requests Yuhao to look out for the Duling Empire's frontline troops, to which Yuhao promises, and by night both of them fly back to Shrek City. After which, when Yuhao and Tang Wutong return to Shrek City, a meeting of the elders is held at Sea God's Pavilion, and Yuhao sits with his eyes closed and in a very low voice tells them everything. How Duling City was attacked, how the royal palace was destroyed by a single Class 9 stationary soul cannon shell, and how the entire royal family happened to be gathered together at that moment, so nobody survived. And the moment this lands, the entire hall goes heavy with silence, and even Elder Huan stands up and says, "Yuhao, take responsibility for your words." After which Yuhao says with deep pain that he can take responsibility, but can he bring back thousands of royal family members from the dead? And then he tells them everything and says he doesn't feel he deserves to remain a member of Sea God's Pavilion anymore, and he requests to be removed. And saying this, he bows with Tang Wutong and starts to leave. But right then, Elder Song says furiously, "Stop." After which Elder Song says, "This is Sea God's Pavilion, and you don't just walk in here and resign whenever you feel like it. Hearing this, Yuhao keeps his head lowered, and Elder Song says she knows exactly what he's thinking. He's thinking the Academy's decision was wrong, and the Academy is partially responsible for the tragedy in the Duling Empire, to which Yuhao shakes his head and says, no, Elder Song, that's not it. The thing is, the Academy's 10,000-year heritage becomes a burden sometimes, and it stops us from thinking rationally. All I wanted to say is that what I need to do going forward will require methods that might look like what evil soul masters do, and I don't want the Academy's reputation to get affected because of. After which Elder Huan says, you foolish boy, you're overthinking this and the Academy doesn't get damaged that easily. And he reminds him that when Yuhao used those powers during the Beast Wave, nobody stopped him either, and in war, powerful abilities aren't evil or good. It depends entirely on the intention of the person using them. And Elder Song walks over to Yuhao and gently places her hand on his shoulder and says, young boy, it's a good thing that you have a brave and kind heart, but remember that as long as we elders are here, the Academy is not entirely your responsibility to carry. We are behind you like a support system, and we trust you unconditionally, so go and do what you feel is right. After which, hearing Elder Song's words, Yuhao's voice starts trembling, and Tang Wutong's eyes become wet. And Elder Huan also says, go and do what needs to be done, and Shrek City will not fall as long as we are here. And hearing this, Yuhao takes a few steps back and drops hard to his knees and bows 3 times and then walks out of the hall with Tang Wutong and going straight to the Tang sect. Yuhao tells Bebe everything, and Bebe's face visibly darkens as he hears it all, and he says the situation is no longer in our control and all we can do is give our maximum effort from our side, and then he asks Yuhao whether he has a plan. To which Yuhao says the only way to get the Sun Moon Empire's army away from Shrek City is to hit them with a surprise, and I am that surprise. And saying this, Yuhao walks off to go rest. After which, Bebe lets him go and tells Tanya that he trusts Yuhao. There's determination in his eyes, and he's clearly already figured out a plan. To which Tanya says, yes, let's get back to work. And when Yuhao reaches his room, Tang Wutong follows him in and asks what the plan is. To which Yuhao whispers it in her ear, and Tang Wutong goes visibly shocked and asks whether they'll actually agree to it. And then Yuhao says they'll have to be convinced, and this plan has more than one goal. To which Tang Wutong worriedly says, I'm coming with you too. And Yuhao says no and tells her his plan won't work that way. After which, the next morning arrives, and it's the day of the Sun Moon Empire's deadline. But their army is still sitting 50 kilometers away, and no attack has come yet, and all of Shrek City's soul engineers are ready with their tools, and there's a tension hanging over the entire city, like the kind that comes right before a massive storm. And right then, 2 people quietly walk up and stand on Shrek City's battle wall. One is Yuhao, staring off into the distance, and the other is Tang Wutong, standing beside him, casually combing her pinkish blue hair, and the commanders patrolling the wall are genuinely confused about why a girl is combing her hair on the battle wall, but the moment they realize it's Yuhao, every single one of them respectfully goes quiet. After which, a little while later, both of them fly up into the air, and everyone standing on the wall watches with their jaws dropping, as these 2 fly off heading directly toward the Sun Moon Empire. And one general panics and says, quick report to the Academy that Yuhao is heading toward the Sun Moon Empire. And on this side, Yuhao spreads his spiritual detection through the sky above, and the Sun Moon Empire's aerial surveillance soul tools appear on his radar one by one, and all of them start retreating the moment they spot him. And Yuhao deliberately doesn't hide himself because he wants to be seen. And when the Sun Moon Empire camp gets close, their soul tool fronts lock on at full power, but Yuhao and Tang Wutong dissolve into the air in an instant because their imitation is so perfect that no surveillance soul tool can pick them up at all. And then the soul engineers just keep searching for them in complete confusion. After which, an uncomfortable silence falls across the entire Sun Moon Empire camp, and right then, Yuhao's voice comes down from somewhere above, and in the most casual tone possible, he says, you told Shrek City to hand me over, so I came myself, and who's going to come out to receive? And with this absolutely jaw-dropping moment, our episode for today ends right here. And starting from the next episode, you're about to witness Yuhao's biggest fight in all of Soul Land 2, where he takes on 10 titled douluo one after another and straight up dominates every single one of them. So hit that like button on this video and make sure you drop just 2 lines in the comments about the next part. See you in the next episode.